compacted wall panel. The process of compaction is identical for the first layer. First, the mortar is placed in a loose form and then it is roughly leveled. Then the compaction is applied to reduce 6 inches of loose mortar to 4 inches of finished wall. Afterwards, mold is released and raised for the next layer of construction. Except for the first few layers of construction where the shutter is still on the foundation, all subsequent layer construction involve raising the shutter to a next level. It is important to make sure that the shutters are firmly clamped to the two guiding concrete columns during compaction, with approximately 6 inches of the shutter height in the compacted wall. Shutters are always required to be released before they are raised to the next layer or lowered for any other reason. With the releasing mechanism in place, the shutters can be moved sufficiently clear from the freshly compacted wall panel. This way, it is possible to avoid the edges of the masonry getting on the way of the moving shutter. Releasing the shutters from the freshly compacted mortar layer, raising the shutters to the next layer height, tightening the two shutters against the two guiding concrete columns are all typical steps involved in making the shutters ready for the next layer of construction. What is seen here is the preparation for the construction of a yet another layer. It is always a good practice to look for any attached mortar on the faces of the shutters and remove them every now and then. What is seen here is such cleaning being carried out before placement of new layer. It is really important that such cleaning is carried out in a regular basis during the construction. There are numerous advantages in the use of continuous masonry construction over the conventional brick masonry. Low cost of construction, high speed at which the construction can be completed, greater dimensional accuracy, minimum skill labor requirement to construct, minimum work skill required to learn the construction technique, high strength both in the compression and in flexure are some of the notable advantages of the use of continuous masonry wall panel construction over the conventional brick masonry. Another unique advantage of this method is the reduction in false work requirement. As can be seen, continuous masonry construction require false work only from one side of the wall panel construction during the whole of the construction work. This is substantial saving of the cost, especially if it involved in a multi-story building construction. Another full cycle of layer construction at 3/4 height of the wall panel can be seen here. What you now see is the compaction of the mortar between shutters. When this is over, shutters are released once again and are raised to the next layer height, and the process is repeated. What is now seen is the construction of the last layer. When this is done, wall panel construction is complete. Once the compaction is over, shutters can be released from the face of the wall panel and lowered to the foundation level. In this method, it is possible to start dismantling of the mold immediately after the end of the final layer. Therefore, in this method, there is no downtime for the use of the mold. Mold can be readily used elsewhere immediately after the completion of the compaction of the final layer. Total extent of the constructed wall panel in this demonstration work equal to 100 square feet, and it took 5.5 hours to complete and required 4 persons in the process. In comparison to conventional brick masonry, this is substantial saving of the labor cost. Labor requirement only accounts to 1/3 of that required for conventional masonry construction of the same size. Continuous masonry also outplays the conventional brick masonry in terms of the strength. From the laboratory experiments conducted at University of Ruhr, it has been confirmed that the continuous masonry has 3 to 4 times the strength of 9-inch conventional brick masonry, both in the compression and in flexure. What is seen here is the unhooking of the chain blocks and lowering them to the ground. Once the chain blocks have been removed, it is possible to remove the cross beams. What is seen here is the removal of the cross beams. After cross beams have been removed, next step is the removal of the connectors. What is seen here is the removal of the connection between the galvanized iron tube guides and the concrete edge column located at the top of the concrete edge column. Once this is done, galvanized tube guides that are used to guide the shutters during hoisting and lowering can be taken off. What is seen here is the taking off of the galvanized iron tubes. After that, shutters and the bottom connectors to the galvanized iron tube guides can also be taken off. This marks the end of the dismantling process. This video shows all the necessary steps involved in the construction of masonry wall panels using the mold developed by University of Ruhr. Video also explain how it is possible to complete the construction of continuous masonry for a fraction of the cost and the time required compared with the conventional brick masonry. More details and technical advice can be obtained from the contact details provided on the screen.